So, hey everybody, it's Dive Girl Dab. Today's video is a little bit different. It's still related to the boat, but I'm going to talk about a couple of my projects. So one of them is I bought a miniature Catalina model. This is a 27-foot version, and my boat's 30 feet, so it needs to be made a little longer to match my boat. But what I'm planning to do is take the mast off, and I'm going to, we'll go into the storage room here, otherwise known as my half bath. And I bought a brick of clay. It's a modeling clay, so it's will just air dry. And I just wanted something that I could kind of shape and form pretty easily. I was in here because I wanted to charge these two batteries during the storm. Usually my epoxy sits on top of there, but it was so cold I was afraid it would freeze in here. I have this dryer heater for the camper, which will be used for the boat later to prevent mildew and such. And I plugged that in and it worked nicely to keep it a little warmer back here. But yeah, there's the toilet down there somewhere. This is my half bathroom. There's a vanity. But this is all brand new boat storage. And in here is all kinds of new stuff in storage. All my light parts, some cleats, and all kinds of stuff in here. Electrical parts and wire and fittings. Tons of stuff. I like to be organized, and it's so nice to be able to go open the drawer and look for parts that I have to put together, and then I can stow things back in there. It's all kind of the smaller parts and pieces, but that file cabinet is really nice to have. So I'm going to take some of that clay and I'm going to build this up to where I can build out the pilot house like it is now. And then what I'm planning to do is to vacuum fiberglass the hole, and I'll probably do the bottom part and glass it to about here, and I'll do one, and then I'll glass one about to here and do one, and then that'll give me this stretch. I can glass them together obviously from length, and then I can build out the pilot house like I want it, and then I can glass that. And what I'll end up with is essentially a whole of my boat. I mean, it's going to be a three-dimensional empty figure, or a mold really for my boat. So what I can do then is put down some peel ply and some fiberglass and make the real boat side of it, but I'll have the negative, which will be great. And so essentially what I can do is create a model of actually my boat, and it'll be strong as fiberglass. But what I really want to do is to like play around and move around inside of there things and use it for 3D modeling. I also have some cardboard that I'm going to go in the boat and play around with, but I think this is going to be a little bit easier at the end of the day, and then I'll have a model of my boat left when it's done, which will be kind of neat. So this was a way to get me started for about 20 bucks with the basic frame. The keel is obviously a little different. It's a long keel, which we're not, but we've got a different rudder. This is made out of wood, and I could cut this down, but you have to remember what I want is the inside, and that's all solid. So it's not going to do a lot for me to cut that up. The cabin rise and stuff here and the window sides are very similar to my boat. So I think I'm going to make my own fiberglass model. And there's a lot of benefits to that. So I know a lot of people will never do it. But then you see, a lot of naval architects, they make a 3D, a half model of their boats that they're making. But the other thing that I've been thinking about that I detest in day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month living is where I have to play Tetris and I have to move this to use that to get to that, and then you've got stuff strewn out everywhere. And every time you watch any of these videos on, sailing channels, when they have breakdowns or maintenance, they've got shit everywhere. And so, I just want to make the assumption that the boat is essentially a shop or a workstation, and occasionally we live on it. So I went to Cal Poly, studied engineering, and I've been around architecture my whole life and design and building. So I just look at things a little different. And plus, as a Lyme patient that doesn't have a lot of metabolic energy, who's getting old, I'm thinking, like, let's set this boat up to be as easy and as smart as possible. And I thought, like, why don't you put in a central vacuum system? Because you're going to need to, like, vacuum up a spill, some hair out of the bilge, for example, things like that. You're going to have fiberglassing projects. Just in general cleaning, it just seems smart to be able to have a central vacuum. Now, when I say central vacuum, I'm thinking of just using a small shop vac that's in a storage compartment, a cubby somewhere, that's plugged in all the time, and you can go to a remote switch and turn it on. and then the hose is already run through the boat. So I'm going to do this. I've been thinking about it, and it's like, boy, if you put one in the galley and one in your stern locker, if you get a mess, some pine needles or leaves from something, you can just flip on the switch and vacuum them real quick. It's not the hassle to go pull everything out. And then I think I'll put another one up in the V-berth area. So my other thing that I was looking for some hose for is some of my tools. And so I poked around and I bought a 50-foot roll. It's spiral round vacuum hose, but this is designed for pools. It's a pool hose. And it gets me, I think this is 1.5 inch opening. It has a little bit of ribbing on the inside. It's not as severe as it is on the outside. And this hose is a little bit stiff. But what I can do is, of course, you can attach this. I bought this shield for this grinder so I can grind fiberglass. But now I can just grab onto that here with this vacuum hose, and I'm going to suck up all of that mess. Whenever there's little bits and pieces that I need to clean up, I can detach the hose and vacuum around my workplace. So the hose will just stay out. The other thing I can use this for is that I can connect this to my bandsaw and draw all the shavings out of that while I'm milling wood. So for right now, it's going to get used on the patio and connected up there. I'll probably take about 10 feet of this and cut it off, and then put the other 20 feet in the boat, because I've got a lot of fiberglass grinding to do in there, one of my first steps. And and then later, all I need to do is you go into the electrical department and you buy that gray PVC, be 1/2 inch. You can even do 2 inch if you wanted to, but 1/2 inch would be fine. And get what they call a sweep. It's a real gentle curve where they run wires through it for a 45, and it's really long. And get some of those long sweeps that come together in a T and then go into your vacuum box. And so I can connect 2 or 3 of these together within the boat. And then I'm thinking if I just find some 2-inch pipe that I can build into the walls, well, you can just drive this hose right into that pipe for storage, and it's stowed, and so if you need it, you just open the little cabinet door, you pull it out of that storage pipe, you flip the switch, and you're vacuuming. And that means that I'll do it more often, and it'll be a lot easier, because as soon as you get done, you flip the switch and then you just shove it back in the cabinet. You don't have to get the vacuum out. So they won't be toting the vacuum around anymore, looking for extension cords and all of that happy horse shit. I mean, obviously, if you want to use it outside of the interior of the boat, you'd have to disconnect the vacuum. But then you're going to have all this lovely, at least 10-foot chunks of hose to be able to use for that. I think it's going to be a good idea. So I'm going to put some central vacuum in the boat because you're always going to be doing boat projects, and it's going to make cleanup of the boat a regular, easy task. And another bonus, because this is designed to move water, if I needed to hook up a big crash pump and I needed some hose, there you go. This is perfect because it's designed for water. So you could also just fill it with water and create a siphon over the side of your boat without any pumps at all to extract water from your boat, as long as your boat's higher than the water you're siphoning to. So I think it's smart for a lot of reasons to buy this crazy pool hose. It wasn't very expensive. It was $30-something for a 50-foot stretch. And it's a lot cheaper for me than the shop hose, and it should work in the shop for what I need to do. If I decide I don't like this, so I recently had a household vacuum that died on me, and I salvaged these parts from it before I threw it away. It's got this nice, very flexible end of the hose, and I could put this between the hose and the tool to give me more. See how nice and flexible that is? That's going to be nice to have close to the tool. And then this arm, which just extends in and out. So you can lock it off, and then you can fold it into itself like this as a tube. And of course, then I found this crevice tool, and it can slide and store inside, and a nice little flat tool. So this is going to be the start of my central vacuum system. I do have a small little red shop vac, and I just think some pool hose here is going to get it done. I think it's going to be a good idea. It's going to work for my tools. I've already got attachments I can use in the boat for cleaning, and we have emergency water removal. So they often tell you, like, if you're going to put something on the boat, make sure that it does like 4 jobs for you, that it's multifunction. And I think this meets the criteria. So I think, people ought to look at, even if you only bought the hose with some fittings and adapters to go to your vacuum now, for less than $100, it'd be easy to put this in any boat, and just have it come out where you want to use it, and find a way to retract it into your wall somehow, hide it, and then it's ready to go when you're ready to go. Eddie's running around like a little banshee right now, blowing off energy, so that's what you're hearing behind me. He's tearing it up, and he's just bouncing off the walls everywhere. So it's hard to catch him on film in that kind of moment because he's just everywhere at once. All right, so there's my idea for a sailboat. Why not put on a central vacuum system? What are you doing, Ed? Okay then? Get. Oh, you're over there playing in the rugs and stuff, huh? Cutie pie. Oh yeah, this is really nice to have this little flexible part. I'm really happy I saved that. You can even go to like a St. Vincent or a thrift store and find an old vacuum, or go to a vacuum supply house. They probably got these laying around the backyard. But this is really nice to have that really soft end for your tools. You can buy these adapters and couplers all over eBay. They're really easy to find. And so this is going to be great. So what do you guys think? Some pool hose for a central vacuum system. I think it's a winner. All right, guys. I'm Dive Girl Deb signing out. Bye-bye.